Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 10th of November, 2025. Come up this episode of the Crusty podcast, episode 387. I remember, and I'm still proud, regardless of all the strife that's going on in our country, with our allies and everything. I still love my country. And I'm going to reflect on this episode, my experiences and some other experiences, and try to show some gratitude to our terrible leadership, regardless of the stripes and the style of the way our democracy is going. Listener and viewer discretion will be advised because, of course, I will swear and I will probably get emotional. I don't know. We'll see. But anyhow, you know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast, episode 387. I remember, and I'm still proud. Lest we forget, tomorrow is Remembrance Day, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And, of course, you've heard me spiel off and on throughout my inception of my videos and then through my podcasts that I'm a 20-year veteran of the Canadian Army. Saw action in 2007 as a radio operator, as the Team Pronto, in what we call the Omelette. I did my part for Queen and Country at the time. Queen Elizabeth was the reigning monarch throughout the Commonwealth, and I did my duty for Canada to the best of my ability. It was the kind of war that validated a lot of careers, that validated a lot of people, and it took a lot of lives. And this time of year, I always reflect on it because regardless how difficult it may be, regardless of how difficult some of those memories are to let go of, you never will let go of them. It doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you do. Gone are the days where you have to suck it all up. There are certain things you have to be resilient with, day-to-day strifes, day-to-day stresses, that you got to show some resilience. You know, words and stuff exchanged online, bad articles, bad books, bad television, bad movies. Yes, we have to have a certain type of resilience to deal with that garbage. But from my experience over there and from the sacrifices that people have made 2 generations before, your grandparents, they had to carry a lot of crap with them because there wasn't the facilitation to help them overcome their obstacles. There might have been some great decompression with some of the troops sitting on a boat and crossing the Atlantic for a couple of weeks, or sitting in certain areas for a couple of weeks before they returned back to their beloved homelands, i.e. Canada, Britain, our friends in the United States. And in no way am I trying to glorify warfare, ladies and gentlemen. In no way am I trying to glorify battle. It's a necessary evil. I'll say that. It is a necessary evil pending on the situation. You get a little man out there from Austria with a little mustache saying terrible things and how he wants to do this, or any other dictator, doesn't matter what political forum they stand on, you know, fascism, communism. You want to annihilate that ideology and you want to destroy that enemy to the best of your ability, because freedom is allowed as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've had people weigh in on TikTok and Twitter and say things like, Crusty, you don't understand what freedom is. You don't want any responsibility. And it's like, well, freedom is responsibility. People that crave for a totalitarian state, people that crave for big government to step in and take over, they don't want freedom. They want to be told what to do. They want to be led by the septum nose ring and be dragged around and being told what they can eat, who they can love, who they can kiss, what they should protest, what they shouldn't protest, what they can say, what they cannot say. Now, I got a video here of some World War II vets regretting how things have become. And I will get to more of my points later on in the show, ladies and gentlemen. But this Remembrance Day, I would like some of my listeners who have never worn a uniform And okay, firstly, and before anyone comments or sends me an email saying that they were in Air Cadets or they were in Army Cadets or they were in the Sea Cadets, that doesn't count. It gives you a taste of military life, a little taste of military life. It doesn't give you the military career. It doesn't give you that sense of service. It doesn't give you that sense of honor. It doesn't give you the danger. It doesn't give you the risk. And you can sit and brag about how you did this in cadets from the time you were 12 to your 18 years of age. Then it's time to be a man or a woman, to get up and step up to the plate and do what's noble, to do what's right, whatever career you pursue. But I've had a few yahoos, and I will say yahoos, who've written me some disturbing emails about their service in the Air Cadet League and their service with the cadets here. And it's not service. You volunteer. You don't get paid to do it. Okay. You get some nice skills out of it. You can get some benefits from being in cadets, but it's not serving your country. Big difference. So those individuals that spend a couple of years in Sea Cadets or Air Cadets or Army Cadets, okay, pay attention carefully. Pay attention carefully, okay? You ready? Fuck off. It does not compare to 10 years of regular service or 20 years of reserve service or 20 years or 25 or 30 years of regular force service. Understand that difference. If you can't understand that difference, then someone's going to have to pop your bubble and wake you up to that fact, okay? Honestly. And what I find in Canada now, especially the past 10 years, everybody's got their own little bubble they want to stay in. They want to be safe. They want to be secure. Government says this. Oh, we better do it. Better get your jibby jab. You better do it. Better vote this way or not. You better agree with this or you're not Canadian. You better have your elbows up, doing all these wonderful things. Meanwhile, the head honcho with elbows up, he hasn't done shit. Right? And yet we still have veterans on our streets. We still have people going hungry. We still have service members, people that are serving right now, waiting in line to get a place to live on any base. Right? Because some of these housing units are fair market value. So we've been told when we were in. And some of these housing units that need desperate renovations because there's just no money. Where's the money going? A lot of rent is paid on Canadian Forces Base, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, soldiers and personnel have to pay rent on that housing on base. Some of you didn't even know that, and I was surprised how some didn't even know, because the Canadian Forces Housing Association is about profit, not about looking after the troops. It's about profit. Something to think about there, right? It's just it's just a different can of worms. But I'll save some of that information for another episode. This episode's about remembering. It's about dealing with the demons. It's about honoring those people who are willing to go before us and people who are willing to go now, right? And contrary to the belief and the myth, ladies and gentlemen, I like to remind my audience, too, that there is no such role as peacekeeper when you join the Canadian military. You don't come off the street and recruit or sign up and say to the recruiters, I want to be a peacekeeper. You either become a crewman in the armored, you either become a gunner in the artillery, or an infantry in the infantry, or an engineer in the engineers. And whatever other position you decide you get into, then you become that. But you don't become a peacekeeper. I actually had a decent conversation with a person on Facebook in regards to that, because she was saying, well, I was married to a UN peacekeeper. Okay, great. He served under the UN banner and he was a peacekeeper. But chances are he was probably an infantry or an engineer or armored or artillery who happened to go on tour to Cyprus or happened to go on tour in the Balkans. Okay. So I want that myth, ladies and gentlemen, I want that myth dissolved right now. There's more to a soldier's life than just the stereotypes, especially when it comes from our own people. Right back after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 387 of the Crusty Canuck Podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And just a reminder, too, folks, if you like and hear what you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast all over your social media platforms. If you do feel like donating, please consider donating if you can. Links will be in the description, too. Donate what you can. I'm not expecting oodles of cash. It would be nice. It would be nice if I can make a profit every time I do an episode. But I also believe, too, in just getting my words out there. And let you, my wonderful audience, decide there too, just to get another point of view out there. And I want you, my wonderful audience, to always think for yourselves too. So just like, subscribe, give me a comment or two, give me a thumbs up wherever you find this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, carrying on with this episode, more of the Remembrance. Now, I joined in 1998 because I needed a job. I needed direction. I couldn't afford school. I wasn't getting a lot of support in certain ways. I've always been a creative individual. I liked writing. I liked doing comedy. I liked acting. I really, really enjoyed that. And I was focusing on that, but that wasn't paying the bills. So I did the next best thing, serve your country. Hey, what the hell have I got to lose? Just my sanity, but that's another story. But I did it. You know, basic training had its fundamentals, as well as battle school had its fundamentals. And then when I got to battalion, it had its fundamentals too. You get to see what leadership is. You get to embrace what leadership is. You get to work for some great people, and you get to work for some not so great people. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that served with me who had an issue with me. Fine. I really don't care right now. I got other things to worry about. But that's just the dynamic you have when you get in the military. You got good people, you got bad people. You get that in every job. But when the mission would come up, when training would come up, everyone was there. Everyone was switched on who did their fucking job. And there's a good few people that I still keep in touch with who did their fucking job. And they keep in touch with me because I did my fucking job. And that's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Any firefighter, any police officer, any paramedic, any ER surgeon, any ER nurse does their job because they're on the front line to make sure that you come out safe and you come out alive. That's what we did as soldiers. Looked after our buddies, looked after our friends. Engage and destroy the enemy regardless of weather, season, and or terrain. That is what we did. And I'm still proud to say that I am a Canadian and that I was a Canadian soldier. Regardless of the little flashbacks I get, regardless of little reminders, little taps in the shoulder I might get, or some of those visions and some of those nightmares come back to visit me, I'm still here. I'm still around. I'm still capable. I'm still durable. I'm still dedicated. I've got a wonderful wife who stood by me through the thick and thin. We've had our problems, yeah. But she's still here, and I'm still here. So that means something. We have a home, and I am grateful to the fact that I still live in a country where I can speak this to you, my wonderful audience. And it doesn't matter where you're watching or listening from. It doesn't matter at all. I encourage everyone around the globe who listens to my show to give me a comment. I don't care where you're from. Okay? I won't listen to any wokeism, but I'll listen to what you have to say nonetheless. Because you've taken the time to listen to me. That's the least I can do. Right now, they're talking about COP30 that's going on in Brazil. So, of course, our important politicians are in Brazil right now worrying about the whole climate scam, right? How they're going to try to divide the wealth between us minions to give to them and their little schemes. Yet tomorrow I'm going to reflect on people that I've known and some of the lads we buried back in 06 and 07. On some of the people I grew to know and some of the people that left prematurely. I'm not going to say how. I just gestured how, but there's a few lads I think of once in a while that hope they're looking down, and I hope they see better things, because there's not so much great things going on here in Canada and around the globe when it comes to being proud of your country, being proud of your history, being proud of your accomplishments. But I'm going to cue up this video, as I mentioned, too. It comes from the Daily Wire. Now, there isn't a Canadian point of view on there, but I'll give you mine shortly thereafter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you mine. And I'm going to keep the subtitles on, too, in case you have trouble hearing. But this has gone viral. Here's a British vet, a Royal Navy vet. And those lads saw a lot of action towards the end of the war. They didn't mess around. And a lot of our Canucks saw a lot of action, too, towards the end of that war as well. But, here's a guy about 100 years old. And just listen to how impassioned he is when he's speaking about this. And listen to the broadcasters afterwards. It's all contrast. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and think for yourselves.
British veteran went viral after he expressed that the fight in World War II was not worth the result of the modern world.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
All the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
Well, gee, I don't know. Where would you like to start, TV man? Perhaps there's no video more emblematic of what he's talking about than this. An assumingly great man of another generation walking through Clown World in the rubble of the world he thought he fought for.
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for.
I'm sure that's going to make him feel a lot better. In 2022, this 100-year-old American veteran tearfully expressed similar sentiments.
It's all going down the drain. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what I want. That's not what they died for. It's just not it. No, I'm so sorry. I'll be all right. Just takes me time to get over it. Because why me sitting here like this? See, all this going on.
It's crazy.
Listen, it's just, Emily, it's just not the same. That isn't what we fought for. Oh, well, I should be worried about it, I guess. I'm 100 years old, they say.
And in 2024, this veteran also went viral when he said this.
What do you think about the state of our country today? How do you feel about the country that you worked so hard to stay free, to keep free?
The real truth?
Yeah.
I feel like a foreigner in my own country lots of times, and I don't like it. It makes my heart real heavy. And I just hope we can pull out of this.
Do you think 16-year-olds would fake their age as you did in order to go off and fight for the country today? 16-year-olds today?
No, I don't think so. It was a different generation. Each generation is a little bit different. Yeah. And I think that all the generations are great, but I think some of the ones they got now are a little lazy. And I think they got to show more pride in their country than they do. I'm just hoping I never run into anything where somebody's trying to burn the flag, because I'll stop them right now.
Now, you see where they're coming from. Funny how there's no Canadian vets that our mainstream media has talked to. Funny how our mainstream media hasn't talked to a lot of Canadian vets. Now, I watched CTV today, and yeah, there was a few Air Force veterans that are on talking about their time in, right? But they're never prompted any questions about the plight of Canada now, right? Those guys who sat in the Lancasters and did night bombings, those individuals that did Dieppe, those individuals that fought in Normandy, that penetrated further into Europe than any Allied service, right? Those people that took on the Germans at the Battle of the Scheldt during through swampy conditions to push the Germans out of Holland. How come our mainstream media cannot research and find those guys? How about our mainstream media and the powers that be cannot look at our Korean vets and talk to them about Cap Yong, right? About the adventures they had with some of the Australians and some of the Kiwis and some of the Brits fighting the Chinese communists. How come our mainstream media does not talk to Canadians that crossed the border and served with the American services during the Vietnam War? How come they don't do that? See, Canada has never been a warring nation. Okay? But when a call-up come up, Canada was there. Canada was there, 1812. Farmers, militiamen, signing up to push the Americans back. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but it was a war nonetheless. Canadians stepping up against the Fenian raids. Canadians stepping up during the Red River Rebellion. Canadians, and as much as I would hate to see anything like the Family Compact rise again, even though there's similarities to the Family Compact to our modern government, there are people that serve this country. Okay? Contrary to the myth, Canada saw war from 2002 to 2014 in Afghanistan. I had the honor of actually having some good conversations with two individuals that served in the Medak Pocket in September of 1993, where Canada engaged in a firefight with Croatians. But we didn't hear about that in the mainstream media, did we? So when it comes to Canada celebrating our war dead, and when it comes to Canada saying elbows up, maybe some of you is better smarten up and smell the coffee. Because there's going to come a time you're going to need the troops for something, i.e. another flood or a disaster, or heaven forbid a war. And we can't do it because you're too busy spending money over here and over there, rather than looking on what's going on right fucking here.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 387. I remember, and I'm still proud. Remembrance Day special, the Crusty Canuck podcast. Just a reminder, too, ladies and gentlemen, if you like and hear what you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast, all of your social media platforms, too. Do not be shy. Just look at the rotating button of the screen there. You can find my podcast on Rumble, Podbean, TikTok, Spotify, Amazon, Supercast, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, and Apple. Check it out. Anywhere you want to find podcasts, just look for Crusty Canuck, and you'll see whatever link that I will host my podcast. And if you feel like donating, please consider donating. Every little bit helps, ladies and gentlemen. Things are tight, I know, for everybody. I'm not going to demand cash, demand currency, but every little bit helps if you can, too. So, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and give me a comment or two, good or bad. I think I can handle it. What say you? Anyway, carrying on with all the somber stuff, too. I'm proud that I served. Regardless of the adventures and the endeavors and the toll it has had on my psyche, I look at that flag behind me there, the big maple leaf, and it was worth it. Some of the missions, some of the efforts, I don't think it was. But I'm not going to be a 100-year-old veteran one day and be as disappointed as those gentlemen were. Those gentlemen spent anywhere from 4 to 6 years on the front line or waiting for something. They gave a lot of time. And a lot of those men, Americans, Brits, Canadians, a lot of allies alike gave a hell of a lot that we could ever fucking imagine. More so than my meager 6.5 months. More so than my meager 3 weeks training. More so than everyone's training. And somewhere in this country, especially in this country, we have forgotten about it. Why? Because it's not politically correct? Right? It promotes the whole colonial model. Yet everyone who bitches about this country and the colonialism, you love going to school here, you love working here. As Don Cherry said, you love the milk and honey, but you fail to fucking realize what kind of work it took to maintain that milk and honey. The sacrifices that were given to keep that milk and honey. So let's start showing some gratitude, folks, shall we? Can we do that? Or is that passe? Or is that too aggressive? Is that a microaggression? Up yours if you think it is. But see, that's the thing with freedom of speech. I can say up yours to you, and you can call me whatever dirty name you want. That's fine. That's freedom of speech. Absolute, right? And that's what those men and women fought for. And don't you forget it. Because we're living in a day and age now, too, where certain Brits are being hauled to jail because of comments they make online, right? And now we have a government that wants to do that to us, too, in the name of C8 and C9 and C63, because they want to be safe. See, their idea of safety is taking away guns from people like me and other people, but they'll let, other individuals acquire them and then release them on bail. So I can see where that Brit and that American have been frustrated. Our justice system has been compromised because of activism, not because of actual priorities in respecting the law. Is that what I fought for? Is that what my brothers in 2007 fought for? Is that what the men and women on the front line right now are willing to fight for? As long as they can get the proper equipment to do their job. But even that is becoming a fiasco right now, too. We have leaders in our military that are worried about the so-called systemic racism that happened. Okay? So they're pandering to pander to the pandering. Where they're not looking at the actual problem is that the military is failing. The leadership is failing. Not the troops, not the warrant officers, not the lieutenants, not the captains, not the majors, not the young privates, not the one-hook privates, not the corporals. It's way up here. It's the big brass. And it's the other politicians slapping and tickling for the pickling, getting their piece of the pie. Dog fucking, that's what we used to call it. Screwing the pooch when things got to get done. But it's not getting done. But regardless of what their fallacies are, I am still proud, ladies and gentlemen, as a Canuck, as a Canadian. Je suis Canadien. Tout mon pays. My country. Your country. It's still worth fighting for. And I don't regret one goddamn minute of it, ladies and gentlemen. So, to my brothers in arms, to my brother veterans, sister veterans, let us remember tomorrow for what it is, remembrance of the fallen, and to keep fighting the good fight. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 10th of November, 2025. I still wish good things for you all. I wish the best. Watch each other's back in these trying times. Let us find the light and shine the light in this manufactured darkness. I'm going to have a few songs added to this podcast too. John McDermott, Fields of France. Lay Me Down, I forget the artist. And because it's the 50th anniversary of the Gordon Lightfoot song, Edmund Fitzgerald, I'm going to put that on there too for Gordon Lightfoot's probably one of the best singer-songwriters that ever walked the earth. And it's just a decent tune. It's got nothing to do with Remembrance Day, but it's still a day of remembering a fellow Canadian nonetheless. And I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that you make an appearance and give yourself a minute of silence at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Canada-wide. Just remember those young men and some of my brothers and sisters during the Afghan war and the peacekeeping operations and during the Balkans, every operation that Canada has been on. Remember us and never forget. Because I won't. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck. I wish you good things. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
To absent friends, to everyone that fought and served and did their duty. Pro Patria, to my brothers and sisters, I will never forget. HUA, HUA. Heard, understood, acknowledged.